Welcome, low ego action heroes. This is Debbie Levitt from Delta CX. We're a full service CX and UX agency, and it is time for our new experimental early office hours. I'll be doing office hours twice on Tuesdays to try to get lots of different time zones, but I just realized the early ones are not yet in our Google Calendar. So I apologize. You're going to say, I didn't even know you were doing this. I just realized this is the second time we're doing it, and I just realized it's not in the Google Calendar yet. I will fix that right after this session. So these are an early experiment to see if, in addition to the ones I do at 6:30 p.m. Italy time, if people might also want another office hours much earlier so that we can catch people awake in other time zones. So I'm going to get all of my chat systems ready and see if anybody's joining. And again, we'll run this experiment, say, through April. And if we don't get a lot of people joining, we'll call it for now. But if there is a demand for me to do office hours in this other time zone, I'll add it to the calendar. So since we don't have anybody joining live yet and there's no questions, I'm going to start putting this in the calendar, at least for the next few weeks, so that we can give it a try. But of course, if you are joining, please ask your questions in the chat room. I'm monitoring YouTube and LinkedIn, or you can use the little URL above my head, deltacx.link/ask, and that's another way to ask a question anonymously. So let's get this in the calendar, and we'll say it's starting April, since March already toast. And we'll say weekly, and we'll say for 4 weeks, and see if at the end of April we've got people who are interested. So let's get that in the calendar. I fear I have done that wrong. Good morning, Hazem. Good morning, Pierina. Good morning, Charlene. Oh, Pierina, I do this much, much later today for people in your time zone. I do it, hold on, let me check what time you're in. Please go back to sleep. Let's see. Well, I'm doing it in 8.5 hours from now. So, Pierina, if that's better for you, please go back to sleep and turn off your phone sounds at night. Good morning, Charlene, again. Pierina has a question, but then promise me you're going back to sleep. Okay, so our first question is from Pierina in Ecuador, where it is 3 a.m, and I'm so sorry. The whole point was to try to get people east of me, not to wake up in the middle of the night, because these are always archived on YouTube, so you do not have to wake up for this. You can find it later. Pierina's question is, how did you know that UX was the career that you want? I am so old that I am one of those people who says, I was doing UX before I knew it was UX. By the way, I changed the effects rack on my microphone. Tell me if my microphone sounds better, worse, clicky. The other day, my breaths were too loud. So, just let me know, audience. Other than a loud sniff like that. So the story, there's a long story up on YouTube, but the shorter version is it really starts in university in the early 90s. I decided I was a pre-med and music double major, and I decided to drop the science. And then I had all this spare time, and I'm at the university, so I said, well, I'll just take some classes for fun that on topics that interest me, and the school encouraged that. It was a liberal arts school. So I started taking psychology classes, and I took intro to psych, I took psychology of music, I took psychology of language. I ended up taking 3 psych courses, and I wasn't even a major. And when I got out of school, I graduated in 1993 with a degree in music. And some months later, a friend of mine calls me and says, you've got to see this new thing. It's called the World Wide Web. And you can make pages for it. And I was like, tell me more, because I'd always been a computer geek. And so I stayed up for like what felt like a week straight teaching myself HTML. And I said, I bet people would pay people who know how to do this stuff. So I started a little company in 1995, and it was website design. But I said, I don't want to just throw these pages together. I want to use what I learned in those psychology classes so that, I'm really putting these pages together based on how people parse information and how people think, based on what I had learned. So, and I'm not an artist, so it certainly wasn't websites to be pretty websites. I hired an artist, and the two of us were the company. And so it's not so much that I knew I wanted to get into UX. I didn't know what UX was until much later. At the time, I just knew that I wanted to make websites and I wanted to use psychology to make websites. So, and in many ways, it's what we do today. So, I really didn't know what I was going to do after dumping pre-med. And I had thought about a career in the music business or in music production, but it was not easy as a woman at the time. It was not easy for someone who doesn't smoke, drink, or do drugs. I didn't fit in with most musicians. And I didn't think it would be a stable long-term career, which turns out it wasn't, because now nobody needs a recording studio anymore. They have one in their laptop. Martina says, I did Academy of Art Ethnomusicology. Yes, I studied that as well. I didn't mention all the music courses I took. And I was an Academy assistant for 3 years. Then I dropped it and turned to the web. Yeah, there's a lot of stories like ours, and I see a lot of musicians and art and even building architects moving to UX. This is all very common. So I think the best way to explain it is that I was that little kid who wanted to see everything organized. I was that little kid who wanted to see everything work for everybody. If someone couldn't make something work, I wasn't happy with it. I think that's. I think to me, there's like personality traits that play into UX well, and some that don't. Hello, I'm having my morning shake, which is why this looks goopy and weird, but it's breakfast here. Pierina, go back to sleep. If I still remembered my Spanish, I would tell you that in Spanish, but I lost it along the way. I'm terrible. But this is Office Hours Ask Me Anything. I always do this at 6:30 p.m. Italy time, which now that we've changed our clocks should be 12:30 p.m. East Coast Americas, 9:30 a.m. West Coast Americas. So I apologize, I'm not too sure what that is in Ecuador. But every day I do it at that time for North America to be awake. This is an experiment. Someone had requested from Australia for me to please do an Office Hours Ask Me Anything when Australia is awake, which is now, and not in 8 hours. No, Pierina, no. Let's see. Non es un buen tiempo per breakfast. I was going to say almuerzo, but I think that might be lunch. I used to be fluent in Spanish, and I started studying German. I totally lost it. Now I study Italian because I live in Italy, and as soon as I try to speak Spanish, I land straight in Italian. Eshmehar says, I'm a psychology student. I want to go into UX, but I'm not interested in the research part of it. Can I still make it without a background in tech or design? Let's get that question on the list. Oh, and I see Charlene's question also, so let's put these on the list. I do make a list, and these become the description in the YouTube video. So, desayuno, thank you. By the way, I should mention LinkedIn is about 2 minutes behind me. YouTube is about 14 seconds behind me, so I do recommend that people subscribe on YouTube and join us there. It's a little closer to a conversation with a 14-second delay versus a 2-minute delay. And Charlene, I see your question as well, so let's get that on the list. So for Eshmehar and Martina says, let's make a team. I love UX research. So I'm one of those people who believes that it's okay to specialize. I don't believe that we have to be jacks of all unicorns. I think that's been hurting our industry a bit, and I think that that's And it's a tough place to start. How do you start? By being good at everything. You've got to start somewhere. Oh, yeah, if you join on YouTube, sometimes your emojis will float by my head. Yes, I would say keep studying the psychology, because even if you do just the UX design and information architecture side, it's still important to have that foundation. You can't go wrong knowing cognitive psychology for any area of CX or UX, even visual design. So I would say yes. As for a background in tech, if you mean do you have to be a programmer, definitely not. I'm one of those people who says we do not have to be programmers to be great at CX or UX. I would say go to a couple of engineering events and listen to what's important to them, and try to become conversational in what they do, but you don't have to know how to code. And you're never going to, well, not never, but you're unlikely to become as good a programmer as they are. And, we don't want to try to tell them what to do in their world. So let's see. And everybody's writing to everybody, but the problem is you can't see each other's comments because LinkedIn can't see YouTube. So yes, you can absolutely specialize in information architecture and interaction design. Check our on YouTube, where we're Delta CX. Go to the Delta CX channel. Or just go to YouTube and look for Delta CX Information Architecture. And you'll find one of our live streamed podcasts, and you'll know that you found the right one because those all have episode numbers. And I think it was like episode 103 or 104. And we had Abby Covert on, fantastic and famous information architect. She recommended a bunch of books to read to get into information architecture, since there are so few courses on it. So I would say make sure you are reading up on information architecture, since it's not the easiest thing to learn right now. There you go. Charlene asks, and I can put this one up on the screen because she's on YouTube. Is it working? Good. Do you think a course in psychology will help, especially with already 5 years of experience? Yeah, so Charlene is already experienced and works in the CX and UX world. And I think if you haven't already studied psychology, you just can't go wrong studying it. Your work can't get worse, and your knowledge won't be less. So I would say always keep pursuing psychology and cognitive psychology courses and information. I know some people like to study behavioral economics. Some people are studying human factors engineering or human factors psychology. So I wish I had more time to study more of these things, and I don't make that time. Hopefully some of you can make that time. This is Office Hours. Ask me anything. Let me see if I'm missing any questions that have come in through the Ask system. No. Let's see. I am getting some spam emails, though, so let's take a quick look at those. And again, I do this twice on Tuesdays as of now as an experiment. So I will be doing this again at about 6:30 p.m. my time, which is just over 8 hours from now. So again, if that time zone works better for you, please don't wake up for this one. Turn off your phone sounds at night. Get off the phone, and we'll catch you later in the day. So this one's an experiment for all the people, mostly Europe, Africa, Middle East, Asia, Australasia, who requested a different time zone. And if nobody shows up, I'll stop doing it. But if people will show up, we'll do it. Do you need something, honey? Okay. Groceries. Yes. We do need this. Thank you. If you've been watching our micro lessons, you know I've got a boyfriend, and you know that we eat food. So don't forget to check the micro lessons playlist over on YouTube, where I've been semi-teaching observational research. All right, let's put up another great question from Eshmehar. And also, by the way, everybody, especially those of you who might be new, since some of your names look new to me, just know that I have a playlist on YouTube called Perspectives. And Perspectives has a bunch of short videos, usually under 5 minutes, that answer one question. A lot of your questions are in there. So I would say, while you're welcome to join here for the live show, you can also poke around the Perspectives playlist, and you can also just search YouTube, Delta CX degree. Delta CX education, just to see what some of my answers and opinions are on that. Good night, Pierina. Do not have 3 a.m. breakfast. Oh my God, go back to sleep. So Eshmehar over on LinkedIn asks, is a formal academic degree important for getting knowledge and landing UX jobs, or are online courses sufficient? Well, if you've been hanging out here, you know that I unfortunately don't like either of them. I'm not happy right now with the state of UX education. Unfortunately, most courses and even many degrees are not teaching the right things the right way. And in many cases, your teacher, I've even seen teachers with no experience in CX or UX. Why is that person teaching? Hey, there's a reason I don't teach people deploying Kubernetes clusters. I know nothing. I don't know why people pretend they know something and think they can teach or just teach from a script. You just can't. You can read a script, you can voice act a script, but you can't be a great teacher just from a script, because someone's going to have a question and you're not going to know the answer. So I do think it's important to put on your critical thinking hat, which I've got over here. If you've joined our channel before, you know I've got a critical thinking hat. Put on your critical thinking hat and make sure you are really looking into these courses, whether they are degrees, boot camps, online courses. The first thing you should do, two main things that I suggest people do when trying to assess a course. First, find the instructor on LinkedIn and take a look at their history. Does it look like they've worked for many years, say at least 5, specifically in UX or CX? Not UI designer, not front-end developer, not web designer, not creative director, not something else, not marketing specialist. You want to make sure that if you're learning UX, or as I often call it, CX, that you are learning it for someone with extensive work experience and specialized work experience. Chances are the person teaching plumbing at a plumbing school isn't an electrician. It's probably a plumber, and probably a senior or master plumber. So we want the same things for ourselves. So check those online courses, check those university degrees. I've had people come to me and say, hey, look at my bootcamp instructor. They're really amazing. They have 20 years in design. And I look them up on LinkedIn and I go, yeah, they have 20 years as an artist. So remember, design means a lot of things to a lot of people. It doesn't always mean UX interaction design. It very often means artwork, graphic design, visual design. So number one, when assessing things, be very careful about who this instructor is and make sure that's the person you want to learn from. Number two, review the course curriculum. What does this course plan to teach you? And look for things that are crappy shortcuts, that are trends that are probably going to die out in the next year or so. So don't pick a course that is teaching you design thinking, design sprints, or lean UX. These are all shortcuts that are not considered UX processes, and so you wouldn't want to learn those. You can learn those, but the problem is if you go to interview for a real UX job, chances are they're not using those, because those are shortcuts often done by teams without CX or UX on them, or sometimes CX and UX people do them thinking that they're going to get everybody excited about design, but then it often doesn't do that. So without getting into a big discussion on design thinking, since I have many videos already up on that, and I'm working on some more about why it's the worst thing to happen to our industry almost ever. There you go. Martina says, I'm going through Google's course for user experience design. Okay, but just know that you're not going to learn user experience design. Google is teaching design thinking, and they're not the same thing. I've heard about what's in that course, and it's not a course that I can approve of. You might enjoy it, you might learn something, but I don't think you're going to come away from it really knowing user experience design. And that's a shame. I think it's a shame that these courses exist. I think it's a shame that Google's putting their name on it. And it just shows some of the low standards that companies unfortunately have right now. But I believe it will change, because I believe as soon as companies start doing math on what design thinking costs them versus what it's made them, and some of these other things, some of these trends will go away. That is my hope and my prediction. So this is Office Hours Ask Me Anything. I normally hang around for an hour and we get mountains of questions, but if this one's a little bit more quiet and we don't have too many questions, I can always end it early. But you have any questions, I am here live. And of course, YouTube, you're delayed 2 minutes, so Martina still hasn't heard me say that yet. As always, that's why I recommend joining on the YouTube. Just so you know, I have all of the ads turned off on YouTube. So if you are joining my videos on YouTube, and if you're looking at any of the archived ones, you should see 0 ads. No ads at the beginning, no ads at the end, and no ads in the middle. I've turned them off. If you see ads, you please let me know because I have turned them off. So see you there. Martina says, can I get some advice? Yes, that's why I'm here. And Eshmahar says, thank you. I say, you're welcome. Okay, let me add Martina's question to my list. Okay, can I get some advice? Yes, because I'm in Germany and it's a little difficult to find university knowledge because of money. It's a bit expensive and language. Well, as I was just saying, you don't necessarily need university knowledge. A university degree is not required, which we were saying to Eshmahar before. You don't have to have a formal university degree. Some research jobs do want to see a master's degree. And maybe you're getting it to get it. But most university programs that I've seen so far, I don't consider very strong. They just seem kind of garbagey to me. So I would say the problem is that I see a lot of garbage, but I don't see a lot of good things. See, there it is. Now it came up. Charlene put up the dog icon. Thank you, Charlene. So I don't have a good answer right now. I have not found a boot camp or program where I can go, yes, this is the one everybody should go to because it's that good. I'm typically recommending Michelle Ronson's CuriosityTank.com courses, #not sponsored, because they're good. And if you're looking for a master's degree, I hear University of Washington in Washington State, America, way over, I guess that way. I hear their master's degree is good and everything else sounds terrible. So while I know a lot of us think, okay, if I want knowledge and education, I need to find a good university or university course. But right now, most of them stink. People keep sending me the curricula for university courses, and I keep going, I don't get it. I don't see how this is going to give you the right information. And who the heck is this teacher? So, Martina, I don't have a good answer for you yet. There are some people out there who claim that they are building a better mousetrap, as we say, that they're going to improve or fix UX education, and they're going to come up with a better curriculum or approach or standards. And I haven't seen it yet. And I could come up with my own, but then I can't make it happen. You know, someone asked me the other day, why haven't you made your own school? I haven't made my own school because it would be very difficult to make that school legal. I could make a not totally legal school, but at the same time, how would I have time to even write all of that content? I worked on this 2 years ago with some people looking at creating a school. And when I found some of the legalities of it, especially for America, I had to put it on hold because there wasn't a good way to do it legally in America in a decent amount of time and without blowing a wild amount of money. So I'm so sorry, but there just seems to be mostly garbage out there, and it is difficult to find good university courses, especially in UX, and most things are garbage right now. I don't have a good answer. I just know that I don't want to see people throwing their time and money at bad stuff. This is Office Hours Ask Me Anything, and you can always ask at deltacx.link/ask. Not only can you ask there anonymously if you don't want me to yell your name out, but you can also use that URL all week long. And it will ask you if you want your question answered in the early one, which is this one, or the late one, which is 6:30 p.m. my time. And I will always answer your questions each Tuesday. And if you happen to miss the broadcast, just go to the YouTube channel and go to the Office Hours playlists and find the one you're looking for. Martina says, next time I'll be on YouTube. Sorry. Hey, you don't have to apologize. It's just a lot of people join from LinkedIn, and I stream to LinkedIn. There's no reason to not join from LinkedIn. I just have realized over a year and a half of streaming to LinkedIn, it hasn't gotten any better. It's still delayed at least 2 minutes. In fact, let's run a test today because I'm not swamped with questions. So let's run a timing test. YouTube is usually 14 seconds. Let's run a LinkedIn timing test. And that way I won't say something stupid if it's not true. Let's only say stupid things that are true. So let's do it. 3, 2, 1, start. Okay, let's see when that pops up on LinkedIn. I'm not watching YouTube, but you've probably seen it by now, YouTubers. So this is Office Hours Ask Me Anything, and I absolutely welcome any questions you have. I've never turned down a question. Okay, I just caught up to myself. 24 and a half seconds. That's not bad. It's usually 2 minutes. And of course, that's my experience here. Some of you might have a different experience. So 24 seconds isn't bad. But I do find YouTube to be even faster. We were clocking it at 14 seconds a week or so ago. So not so bad. Okay, if LinkedIn is fixing that up, that would be great. Hey, our official requester for the early office hours is here. So glad I can join live. Hi, we're about halfway done. Let me know if you have any questions. I think that's Janani. Tell me if I need to pronounce your name differently. Abby is here. Hi. So again, this is early office hours. It's early for me. I know it's late for some of you or midday. It is early for me, 10:30 in the morning. And I'm having my breakfast shake. And I hope everybody's holidays are going well. If you are a holiday observer, we've got Easter coming up. We've got Passover happening. We've got something colorful happening in India. So there you go. Charlene says, someone wrote a nice article on design thinking. She quoted you in your book. Yeah, she actually wrote that, I think, a year or so ago. And I found it at the time, and I thought it was very nice of her to write that and to quote my book. So yeah, the interesting thing is that article kind of going around again has brought out all the pro design thinking people. So I've just been screenshotting what they say, and I do plan to do some sort of video or episode on the 8 gazillion definitions of design thinking, which to me is part of the problem with design thinking. If you read the comments under a lot of these, no two people seem to define design thinking the same way. And they're all sure that they have the one true definition. And Debbie's wrong and that guy is wrong. And it's like, oh, wow, this is like religion. It's just like religion. You know, I believe in this God. You've got that God. You're wrong. You've got this all wrong. That's not what God wants from us. So it's like, oh my God, I feel like I'm watching religion. Hey, Praveen is here. Let's answer Praveen's question. Though technically, Praveen, you're late, and I actually already answered this question today. So you are just psychics. Praveen's question is a psychology course helpful for UX designers? Yes, all of them, always. I covered this earlier today already since we did get that same question. So that's a popular question. But yes, anything you can study that falls into cognitive psychology, behavioral economics, human factors engineering, or human factor psychology, you can't go wrong learning, especially if you check the instructor of the course or the online course and they seem to really know what they're talking about. So yes, more psychology. It's the core of everything that we do, or at least it should be, even for visual designers. I would love it if visual designers studied more psychology and even some accessibility. They should know accessibility cold. So there you go. So this is Office Hours Ask Me Anything. Just checking I'm not missing any emails since the questions up here come in as emails. For those of you new to the channel, this is the tip jar. Oops, sorry. I don't know how to point at it. I'm on a green screen. So where is it? Here. Okay, I have to point at the air. So this is the tip jar, totally optional, but since I don't monetize the channel, I welcome any and all tips. These are most easily done through YouTube, of course, since YouTube has super chats and super stickers. But if you are so inclined, we also have deltacx.link/tip, which is just a fun little PayPal. Tip jar optional, but always appreciated. I buy delicious cheese. This month you have donated, I believe, 31 American dollars, and I'm very grateful for all of it. I really appreciate the support of the channel and what I do. And of course, any financial things are optional. I have spoken many times about how I decided over a year ago to make as much of what I do as possible completely free. Some of you have heard I'm working on a training program for HR, recruiters, talent sourcers, staffing agents to stop building us crappy jobs. And that is almost done. I've been working on it what seems like 9 months, and finally I am editing the videos. So we are almost done, and that will be coming out soon, and I will make sure to announce that. But there was a preview a couple of weeks ago on the channel. I forgot what episode it was, 105. It was descriptions of bad jobs, or I don't remember what I called it. I'd have to look it up. So this is Office Hours Ask Me Anything. I stay here for up to an hour and take everybody's questions. All questions are welcome, and I am monitoring LinkedIn and YouTube. We've got a LinkedIn question, and let's take a look at that one. Sorry, I see you coming in now, LinkedIn person. Let's see, though it's not telling me your name. Hold on. It's Ellen. The very hungry experienced designer. I hope you get some food. And Ellen says, let's copy and paste this, because I copy and paste all the questions in so that I can put them in the YouTube description. And, Ellen is adding to this, so let's copy and paste that as well. Okay, here's what it says. I can't put it up on the screen because they're on LinkedIn. If you're on YouTube, I can put it on the screen. It's just the way my system works. Ellen says, how might one who is new to the title of UX, having just graduated from the intensive study in the foundations of UX, yet has significant SD and CX experience, make that shift apparent in a job application without looking like a complete novice? I believe in my capability as a UX designer, but I lack experience and skill with digital tools. What's your advice on navigating my way in UX with such a limit on prototyping? Well, hold on. I hear a lot of things going on here. When you say, I've just emerged from studying foundations of UX, but you have SD and CX experience, but you limit UX. So is the problem really that you're not much of a prototyper? Because my gut feeling here is that the problem here isn't just tools or prototyping. If the problem were tools or prototyping, you'd spend a couple of days on Udemy or LinkedIn Learning, or you can take my Acture course, go to P-Type Academy, P-T-Y-P-E, ptype.academy. I've got Acture videos up there, though they're for version 8. You'd have to brain translate for version 9. If that's really your problem, then spend some weeks learning the tools, make some examples of the work, add it to your portfolio. But my gut feeling is that the problem here is not necessarily that you haven't learned enough digital tools or prototyping tools. So since there's a 24-second delay, I'm going to ask you, what do you think is really the issue here? Because if you are shifting to if you're shifting into UX and you haven't had a UX job before, then you might be getting a junior job. I mean, let's go to your LinkedIn. You are in Melbourne. So good evening. User research data visualization. My gut feeling on that is strange. Those are two unrelated things that got glued together. User experience design and information architecture 2-month contract. Evaluate heuristics, examine onboarding, and help to create a service out of their startup product to improve conversion rates. UX design, creative copy, UX writing. Oh, no, you went to the boot camp. Oh, you graduated a boot camp in December. I'm so sorry. Let's see if you've added anything while I'm talking. No. So it's not enough that you believe in your capability as a UX designer. You have to tell that story, usually with your portfolio. So do you have any real work or sample work that you can put in your portfolio that show that you can get that job? And again, it might be a junior job. It might be a mid-level job. Okay, and before that, you were a choreographer. And you worked in hospitality. Okay, so at that point, that's not relevant. Okay, but you did that for 30 years. And now and then you did the boot camp, which I wish I could have saved you from. So first of all, I would not describe your boot camp as intensive study in the foundations of UX. I've seen some of the portfolios that came out of your boot camp, and I'm not sure they're teaching you the right things the right way. But again, that's my personal opinion on boot camps, and those opinions vary. I think that you're probably going to be looking for an entry-level job in UX. I know you're saying you're not a complete noob or novice, but when I look at your LinkedIn, I see freelance service design and customer experience for 3 years, starting in 2017. In general, when I see stuff on LinkedIn, I don't believe it until I see your portfolio, because anybody can call anything anything. You can say it was customer experience, but if I see that you just prettied up a landing page for marketing conversions, now we're battling as to whether or not that's really customer experience if it didn't involve customers and it was just you making something you thought was better. So I would say that without seeing your portfolio, if I see your portfolio, I can tell you if you are a junior or mid-level or senior or something else. But I think that when I see your LinkedIn, and I'm sorry if this is a little bit too personal and too specific, but I wish we did more of this on this channel, honestly. I wish people would send me their LinkedIn, send me their resume, send me their portfolio, and let me talk about it live on the air. Because even if there are things about this that don't look strong, let's learn from that and let's get better. But every time I've said to somebody, can I do this live? I've been told, no, like don't show my stuff live. So there's that. So I'm looking at your LinkedIn, but I would say I would have to see your portfolio in order to know where you're going. And I would say you would have to tell that story, not in your resume or CV, but in your portfolio. If you don't want to look like a complete novice, then what did I get on my Woody? Sorry. Then you need to have a portfolio that tells the story you're not a complete novice. And that's really it. The portfolio and the resume are speed dating. If I can see a portfolio and I see, hey, this person really knows what they're doing, this work looks solid, I see a good user-centered design process, or I know your bootcamp taught Double Diamond, which is a derivative of user-centered design. If I see good process done well and you've got good storytelling to show me what you can do, then you won't look like a complete novice. It just depends what's in your portfolio, in my opinion. Go into the live streamed podcasts playlist on the Delta CX YouTube channel and look up episode 54, which is portfolio do's and don'ts. And that's got some of my advice on how to make your portfolios better and try to show what you can do and not, tell the truth about what not to do. Martina says, I agree. It's a great way to learn. Charlene says, I'm happy to do that. You can show my stuff, but hide my name. I'm not always good at that when we're live. Ellen says, yes, I've only done a boot camp. I'm aware it's only the basics. I'm not so much asking about getting around junior roles, as I see that might be the right step for me, the first step, but I'm not young or a freshman. I want to translate that. You did translate that, because I went to your LinkedIn and it said you were an artist and a choreographer for 30 years. So I know you're my age, or possibly slightly older than I am. I'm 49. So I mean, we're, let's see. No, I'm slightly older than you. No. Yes? Anyway, we're almost the same age. I hope you're not offended by that. But if you've been doing something for 30 years, as this says you have, you would hypothetically be roughly my age, unless you started when you were 8. So I get that you are not young or immature or new to work. But as I talk about in one of my perspectives videos, so go to the YouTube channel, go to the perspectives playlist, and I've got a video on there where I talk about how when a CX or UX job says we expect 3 years of experience, they expect that experience in CX or UX, and specifically what the job is for, not general experience being an adult and working. So I think your maturity will translate in how you tell the story in your portfolio. It will certainly show up in your CV if you're leaving some of your old jobs in there, or the dates that you graduated university. I started dancing at age 3. I started performing professionally at 9. Okay, so you might be 10 years or so younger than I am, because it says you graduated. I can't tell when you grad. That's the funny thing about your LinkedIn. I kind of can't tell when you graduated from anything. If you graduated from university in 2004, that makes you about 10 years younger than I am. So anyway, you're not the youngest person. You're in the middle. You're pushing 40. I'm pushing 50. I think that those things can be important, but if I'm looking at a portfolio, I'm looking at a case study. I don't know if you're 40 or 60 or 23. I just see the quality of your work, the process and approach that you took, and how you tell me the story of those things. And that's how I'm going to judge you. And if there is something about that I perceive as not that strong, everybody knows I will fly my red flag, and I will say, hey, that's a red flag for me. It looks like you guessed it, personas. Hey, that's a red flag for me. You said you were dedicated to good research, and then you spoke to 2 people. Hey, you claim you told me you were an innovator, and then you made this thing, which is not innovative. So what's so innovative about you? And remember, none of us have to be innovative. It's not a requirement for the job. As I say in my new HR training, if you're not going to assess someone as for how innovative they are, stop asking for people who are innovative. Almost nobody's innovative. Almost nobody you know has invented something that no one's ever seen before. It would be fine if we could all find and fix problems. We don't have to be innovators and inventors. So remember, Ellen, I think that your biggest problem is not going to be, I want to make sure people know I'm not young. They're going to know, especially if you leave on your university dates or if you leave on some of your old work, then they're going to know. If you start your CV in August 2017, then I do think you're quite young. But if you start your CV further back, I know you're not young. I start my CV in 2012. I figure 10 years of work experience is enough to tell people I can do this stuff. I don't have to go into the stuff before that, even though there's some fun stories from those days. And but I don't want to start too soon. I do want to make it look like I have a very nice bulky amount, but that's experience in CX and UX. So I hope that helps. Let me know if you have any follow-up questions. I'm technically here another 15 minutes taking your questions, so feel free to ask your questions or follow-up questions. And now we've got another question from Janani. And let me put that in my list of questions, and then let's put it up on the screen. And it says, hi, Debbie, I moved from a purely quantitative research background to UX research. I believe this has helped me, but it wasn't easy to transition as a UX doing qualitative research. Do you have any advice? Yes, it's not just an easy jump. Quantitative is so much about statistics and numbers and data and analytics, and it's really important and we need it. But so much of UX, as you've learned, because I know you're now doing it, because you've talked about it in our Slack channel, the qualitative side is a whole different set of skills. Not better, just different. It's a whole different set of skills. So I do recommend that people who want to get more into qualitative research definitely try to learn more about it, study what you can. Over in micro lessons, I'm trying to teach a little observational research, though in a bit of a weird, informal way. I do recommend Michelle Ronson's Curiosity Tank courses, curiositytank.com, #not sponsored. I think she'll give you $50 off if you mention me, but I get nothing. I said give everybody my discount. Whatever you were going to give me as an affiliate, give it to people. So I do think it's important to specifically learn and study things related to qualitative research, observational research, interview-based research, whatever you want to call it, contextual inquiry or otherwise, it's interviews. So that would be my suggestion, is to not just, for anybody making this transition, I'm not talking about Janani specifically, but don't just assume, yeah, I'm good at this one thing, I'll just jump over to this other thing. Very often there's a lot for us to learn about that other thing, and the jump isn't going to be as clean and easy a jump as we imagine. So I would say keep studying and learning. There aren't any online courses in qualitative research that I like other than Michelle's at Curiosity Tank. And then, of course, you've got my free micro lessons in the micro lessons playlist, where I've been trying to show some observational research, and we're still continuing that. Those lessons will continue on Monday. Oops, squeaky chair. Those lessons will continue on Monday, where we're going to work on our task analysis. But yeah, that my advice is always keep learning. I'm learning new things, and I'm old and crumbly, and I'm still learning new things. I wasn't doing task analysis before last year, but I learned about it through Larry Marine, and now I believe it's a way better thing to do, better than jobs to be done, better than customer journey maps. Now I think customer journey maps I didn't love them before, but now I really don't love them now that I've seen task analysis. So I'm learning new things too. If you ever feel like you're there and you don't have to learn more, then thank you. Then you're in the wrong business. So get out of UX, So yeah, we're always learning, always pursuing. But right now, unfortunately, there aren't a lot of high quality courses and information out there. It's really bad. Nobody's complained about my microphone, so I assume my new effects rack sounds pretty good. Does my voice sound too quiet? Does my voice sound warm and inviting? Does it sound crackly? I overdid it yesterday and got some complaints. So let me know if I can improve the sound of my microphone, and I will, since I know a few things about that. Hey, this is Office Hours Ask Me Anything. I'm usually here another 10 minutes, and this is an experiment for an early one. I will be back in almost 8 hours to do the usual one of the day. So that will be people say microphone is good. Okay, thank you. I was messing with it yesterday, and I ended up with what did I end up with? I ended up with the voice denoiser, the de-esser, and a compressor, but I took off the other crazy crap I'd accidentally put on. And I killed the gate. Warm and inviting. Well, thanks, everybody. So, hold on. For that, we get yes. So, so we've got a few minutes left. If you have a question, let me know. If you have questions during the week, do yourself a favor and just head on over to the YouTube channel, because I've got hundreds of hours of content there. Some more long-form content, like hour-long videos, but you can watch them at 2x if you feel I speak clearly enough. And then some shorties that are 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes in the Perspectives playlist. So just go over there and search for what interests you and see if the answers are there. They might be. It was my goal to have a giant free library of content that would answer most people's questions, but I'm always getting new questions, so I need to get more videos up. But I'm a little busy right now, so that'll have to be put on hold. Any other questions? Am I missing any that are coming in through the email? No. It's turning to spring where I am. How about everybody there? Or I guess turning to winter on the other side of the world. Hope everybody's doing okay, safe and healthy. Let's see. Can you just repeat the site for learning? I can't catch it. Yeah, let me type it in my little secret box here and let me put it up on the screen. Let's put it up. Press number 4. 4. Oh, that's little. Let me make that font bigger. But it is curiositytank.com. And again, hashtag not sponsored. And that's Michelle, who's been on the show many times. She has a number of courses that are aimed at learning how to do research, from the planning of it through, I think, some of the recruiting and the interviewing, and then analyzing what you get. That's so far the best course I've seen on interview-based research, so I recommend it all the time. It's certainly not the cheapest course out there, but it is the best. So I think that's somebody who is worth talking to and getting to know, and you can always reach out to her. She's super friendly. She's been on the show a bunch of times, and we do have her scheduled to come back, actually. Let me check the calendar, which is my phone. Let's talk about some shows that are coming up, especially those of you who are new to the channel. Starting on Friday, I'm going to do short streams where I react to crap that you guys send me. So if you like reaction videos and you want to know quickly what I think of this meme or social post or bootcamp curriculum, send it over. Let's see. Then Saturday, I'm going to a wedding on Zoom, evidently, right? Yeah. Okay, you're not invited. Monday, we're going to do micro lesson task analysis based on the fake observational research we just did. Next Tuesday will be early and late office hours. Yes. Wednesday, we're going to continue working on our task analysis by working on our optimized task flow. Friday, April 9th, we've got a double header. We've got 2 streams. We've got the what's going to be the weekly reacting to crazy crap stream, and then a later stream, because it was the only time he was free, with our good friend Dr. Seth Finkel, who's going to talk about critical thinking and how to improve your critical thinking. That's April 9. Monday, April 12, we might try to make some personas based on the fake observational research we've been doing. Tuesday, April 13, office hours. Now, Tuesday, April 13, late office hours is going to be one of our specials. Once a month, the second Tuesday of each month, it's going to be office hours Ask Us Anything at 6:30 p.m. Italy time. Sorry, people in Australia. It's going to be the 3 Musketeers, Darren Hood, Dr. Nick Fine, and me, once a month, second Tuesday on The Late Show. Thursday, April 15, is going to be my first subscriber-only YouTube stream. There are subscription options available on YouTube. For $3 a month, you get fun emoji, like my dog floating by. And for $6 a month, you get fun emoji and a monthly stream just for you. For now, I think it's just going to be a bit office hoursy or conversational, but eventually, who knows? But I want to make sure that people who don't pay for the optional memberships still feel like they're getting a mountain of quality content from me and they don't feel locked out of anything. Friday reactions. I know somewhere in here we booked Larry Marine to join for office hours Ask Me Anything. Yes, here it is, April 20. So there you go. And the micro lessons will continue. We're going to do, Michelle is coming back Monday, April 19, transitioning into user research. So if you have questions, please join. Now that's going to be the late one, 6:30 p.m. Italy time. Wednesday, April 21, micro lesson on writing a research report based on the fake observational research we've been doing. So the new reaction streams will be 6:30 p.m. my time on Fridays, starting this Friday. They will be archived into their own playlist, and I'm going to try to keep the stream about 15 minutes. So they're just going to be kind of hit and runs where we take a quick look at a couple of wacky things, give some quick responses to them, and move on. So it's not going to be an in-depth reaction video. It's going to be, let's hit a couple of things, press the fire button. Here's the fire button, and move on. So if there are no more questions, and it looks like I don't see any other questions, did I miss anybody's questions? Or does anybody have a last follow-up question? Because if we're done, I'll play us out of here, and I'll see everybody in 7.5 hours when we do this again. Now I must wait 24 seconds for you to respond. What's for lunch? I'm going to make a shrimp stir fry. How about you? All right, everybody. I'm still waking up over here. Excuse me. Whew. I yawn all day. You guys see me at 6:30 at night, I'm yawning. You see me at 11 in the morning, I'm yawning. I have bad news about my sleep. Charlene says, yum. Yes, get vaccinated, get on a plane, and come visit, though I may stand far away from you. Chickpea curry. Oh, wow. My boyfriend would love that. Do you have any book recommendations for psychology? The person in charge of book recommendations is Darren Hood. Google Darren Hood UX book recommendations, and I'm sure you'll find his wacky, super long list. I am not the right person to ask for that. I do not make time to read a lot of books, so I am usually not the most well-read person, and I admit that. I'm not going to pretend I've read all these books. I have not. I think Darren has, so he's got a list of recommended books. Check him out. All right. I guess I will, what's next on my calendar? Keep writing my new talk. Oh, I'm so excited about my new talk. Every year I rewrite the talk that I do for non-UX audiences, and every year I give it a fresh name and I totally rewrite it, and I'm so excited about where it's going this time. And I'm going to be premiering it in about a week. A company asked me to give it to their agile coaches privately. And then I'll get it up on the YouTube once I've kind of test driven it and fixed it. Martina says, I got it. It's perfect. The books are great. You can find almost all of them online. Totally true. I've got a book. It's more strategic than psychology. It is online, not for free. It's on Amazon Kindle, and it's $12 American on Amazon Kindle, which I think at this point is about 9 or 10 euros. So I've tried to make my book affordable for people, but it is the length of Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, and it did take me a little while to write. It was 191,000 words. That's why there's no audiobook version. It would be 21 hours. No. I've got to get my HR training out, everybody, and then I hope all of you will help me in getting the HR training out there. It's going to be totally free. I don't make money on it, so I hope we'll all just promote the hell out of it and get all of the HR recruiting, staffing people in our worlds to take the time to learn how to make better jobs for us. The training will be long. I expect that it's going to end up 8 to 9 hours, but mostly broken up into small videos. So that is work in progress. I'm hoping that'll be ready maybe while everybody's Eastering, I will finish editing. All right. On that note, thanks again to everybody for joining today. We'll keep doing these early ones as an experiment to see if there's people who prefer this time zone. So we'll at least do it through April and then kind of reassess it and see if it makes sense. So that's that. And I will play us out of here and see everybody in, I guess, 7.5 hours. Have a great day or night wherever you are, and be safe. Delta CX, available for CX and UX consulting, projects, and training. Contact us for a free consultation.